want to create from scratch a complete flowchart using an activity diagram. I create a new flowchart project and I use an activity diagram. I open this sheet. To get a second-degree equation parameters and present the solutions of that equation, and maybe also some error codes, if any. The flowchart relies on this Java method here, resolve equation. It has the three parameters as arguments, and the solving is done here. But there is no way to get any result out of this Java class. The idea is to use some bytecode injection in order to pick up all the information we may need. This flag, for example, this intermediate variable, and of course the results. So let's start. First of all, I create this first action, which will contain the GUI to get the parameters. So I can just add that in the description. Get parameters A, B, C. We will see how the instruction looks like. For now, there is no way to do it because we didn't create any GUI. Maybe we can do it right now. It can be done with this button here. Add, and here I would say run screen. I can give it a title, but it's not necessary. For the group, I can just add get parameters. And here, the first line will have a label and a field. The field will be an integer. It will be enabled and required. And now I will just duplicate this because we will have that 3 times. So now I can add some the missing information. Here our first field will be A. So the variable A will contain the value that we will put in this field. Then here B. And C. Now I add another line or a row if you want. And in this row we will have 2 buttons. The first one, I can call it Go, and the caption will be OK, and the other one will be Stop, and the caption is Cancel. OK, OK. So now, as I have defined my GUI, I see here the possibility to call it. So that's the way we will do it. I just select the created GUI and I say OK. So it will show just this GUI. Okay. And now I have a decision node. On the left, I will have something, and on the right, something else. I can say stop here on the left and go on the right side. So right now I can just test that. You see, I get my GUI, and if I say cancel, I will go on the stop on the left side. Okay. And again, if I say OK, I go to the right. OK. So if I say stop, I also can write it as command here, and my instruction will be stop. If I say OK, I want to call this Java method to calculate or maybe solve equation, and that's a Java call. I have to find it. It will be somewhere here. Simple calculator. And here I have the possibility to create a new instance of this class. I will call this just calc. And here I have 3 constructors proposed. I choose this one without arguments, and I say OK. Now, you see, there is also a possibility to add some bytecode injection, but I didn't declare any, so I won't use it right now. I have to click on this button to declare my bytecode injection. But first, I will do the next step here, which is once again to select this class, and this time I will call the method using my instance calc, and the method is this one. And you see the signature of this method. It returns a void and has 3 arguments here. So I click here. The first one is A, then B, then C. Okay. So now the method will be called, but we have to get the information we need. So that's what we will do with this bytecode injection. I will declare a variable for this class. The variable, let's call it PCI just. And I choose the method where I will add my injection. Create, and here I say I place all at the bottom of the method, meaning once all is done, I want to get some information. And the first one I will get here is one of those proposed here. I just let this one as it is because I need it. I can then add a new one, which will be x0. Here is, we have the variable in the method, and here it's where it will be exported. Okay. Another one, x1, and maybe this delta. And at last, we want to be notified that the method was called and is now finished. So here we will have a variable called done. Okay, okay, okay. So now I turn back here and I say I will use this bytecode injection, which is defined in this variable. And I say okay. So now the next step will be here, another decision node where we go on the left or on the right. The left will be, we had an error. Or here not error, and done. So in both cases, I want to show it in a GUI. So here we have to create two GUIs. The first one will be error screen. And here I say error cause. The label will be delta. And the field is also an integer, delta. It's not required, not enabled. And I add a new line with two buttons. The first one will be stop. I let it as it is, and the second button will be retry. Okay, and I add another one which will contain the results screen, results, equation results, label x0, field, the field is a float, x0. Now I duplicate that and I say the second one is x1, and then I add a new line, and maybe I also say stop here, or retry. Okay, okay. So here we want to show error, just select this error screen and say okay. Of course, here we add a decision node. In the retry case, we go back here and In the stop case, we go here. So here I will say retry, and here I say stop. Here we will do something similar. Show results. It's this screen. And the decision will be either I stop here or I go back there. Okay. Here if I stop, I just say this. Okay. And to be complete, I add this here. And here I also say stop. And we can just try. We get also here our controls, but we don't need them normally. So now if I say 1, 2, 3, okay, and I go to the left because there is an error here. Delta is -8, which will not lead to a solution. So if I retry, if I say stop, what happens? Yeah, it stops. Here I can do that also. So I'm really complete now. And I try again. 1, 2, 3. Okay. If I say retry, we go up. And if I say -1, okay. We go on this side, represent the results. And we can also say stop or retry. The retry didn't work because I just didn't put anything here. So I say stop. Retry. And now it's really done. -1, 2, 3. Okay. Retry. I go up. And if I say 1, -3, I have some other result. And if I say stop, it's done. Okay. So now what we see here is that it works as we want. So we can save that project. Here, we save it under Ec2 solver. It's already saved, but I save it again. So, and now I export it under AD. And here I have the possibility to use the control buttons that we have here, but we don't need them. So I just say OK. Now I go here. And here we see what was generated here. I have this shell. I just call it. And here we see exactly the same UI as previously, but without any flowchart presented. So we can just put anything there and see the error codes. Then we go back here and maybe I say -12 here, and we will have some solution. If I say stop, it's end. We can also see the same, exactly the same, but done with graph sets. It looks like this. We have exactly the same calls, but of course it's presented a different way. So I'll let you just consider this. And another alternative is the same with Petri nets. And in this time it looks like this. And of course, exactly with the same calls. Here we have Java call with our BCI, for example. Okay. So now you have seen a complete tutorial. Maybe you will want to do it by yourself. So just do it. Thanks. Bye-bye.